Hi everyone and welcome to a latest soldering video. As always, thanks for tuning in. Now I've had a few people ask me lately if I'll put together a really quick video just showing you how you can safely lift IC pins from their connections on the board. Maybe you want to take the pin to a different connection point around the board, or you just want to totally isolate that pin from the board itself. So I'm going to show you the tools I use to achieve this, to get good safe results. I'm going to start with this IC you can see on your screen now. The pins are fairly well spaced on this one. And then I'll move on to a much finer IC after this. So what we do, hopefully you enjoy the video, you learn something from it. So yeah, we'll move on to this IC first, and then we'll move on to the finer pitch one after that. Right, so move on now to the first pin we're going to get lifted up. Just going to do one of these pins on this IC. Now the pins on this one aren't too close together, so these are pretty easy to lift up. So we'll start with this one. I'll show you this sort of consistent method throughout. I'll move on to finer pitch one after this. So we'll start with this one. So the first thing I'll do is get some rework flux added to the pin you're going to lift up. Let's just get some flux added around that joint. Now this is leaded solder. The board was built that way. Basically we're going to get this one lifted up. I'm just going to use leaded solder. We've got my iron set to about 330 degrees. So I'll just get a little bit of solder added to my iron tip. Now on this one, what I'll do, I'll just get a scalpel blade, just gently behind the pin. Just get the solder melted and just tweak the pin up about 0.5 millimetre, trying to keep it straight. And what you've got to do then, get some solder braid. Now I'm going to dip that in rework flux, just because it aids the solder braid to work better. And we just get that solder melted. So that's taken the solder away from the pad, away from the pin. So the pin now has become loose from the board. What we've got to do then, just gently get your scalpel blade underneath it. Just tweak it up. Just try and come up straight. You can get tweezers if you can get them underneath. That's about where you want it. You don't want to go too high. I try and come out about level from where it's entering the body. So I've got a nice gap underneath that now. It's totally isolated from the pad, and that's how easy it is. So basically, yeah, I've got a nice gap, so if I get my tweezers in there, you can go straight underneath. So there's no join there now. So the reason for doing this, you want your signals to go elsewhere on the board. It's quite a common thing when sort of designers are prototyping a board. They might want the signals to go in different places. So it's not a common method, but it's sometimes sort of useful to know, and yeah, it's definitely used at times. So as you can see on your screen, this is a pin we've just lifted. What I've done to this, I basically stuck a piece of Kapton tape onto the pad. Kapton's adhesive line, so it sticks nicely to the PCB. It's basically just going to protect that pad from retouching this pin that you've lifted, just in case the pin accidentally got sort of pushed down in the future. Yeah, Kapton's available from sort of Farnell, RS Components, plenty of other stockists online that sell it. Like I say, it just gives you that safety net in case there's an accident with a pin getting pushed down. So like I said earlier, we're going to move on to a finer pitch IC now, and yeah, I'll show you that one. Right, so moving on from the other IC where the pins were quite well spaced apart, we're going to come to this device. It's got 208 pins, and this is a much finer pitch device where the pins are really tight together. Now, just going to lift 2 or 3 of the pins in here, show you the same method. So we're going to get the same results hopefully, and yeah, we'll see how this one goes. So first thing as always, add the rework flux around the pins you want to lift up. So just get a small amount added in there, just so it runs right round to the back of the pins. And basically get a small amount of solder onto your iron tip. And again, I'm going to just use quite a sharp scalpel blade, just to get behind the pins. Some people do it with fine tweezers if you can get them in there, because they're generally, even though they're quite fine, they've got a bit more strength about them than the pins, so they won't bend basically before the pin comes up. So yeah, just get 2 or 3 of these lifted. Let's just tuck the scalpel blade behind the pin you want to lift. Just wait till solder all melts. Now this will bend over to the side because the angle I'm coming from, but when I lift it up higher, I'll straighten this up. Let's do that one. Let's do one more. Wait till the solder's gone right down the sort of flowed right down the length of the pad. Now let's just get that braided off. So I've already added some flux to my braid. Let's just put that in there. You can actually see the solder coming from the back right down to the front of the pad, travelling up the braid. And this is where you can straighten the pins up that you've just lifted. So you can just nudge them over. It's also good to do this, you can actually see that they're actually definitely come away from the pad because they're moving really easy. So get them straightened up again, and then just get them gently lifted. Now with these, depending what you're going to do with the pins once they're in the air, just get that underneath. Actually proving a bit difficult, that one. Just go under that, so just get them to about that height to start with. So these are quite springy pins. All depends what you want to do with these. So we just put them all that level there. So let's just get the flux cleaned off the board quickly. Some people might bend these pins right back on to the top of the device. Some people might want to put, say, a 402 resistor, 0402, between the pad and where they are at this present time. But yeah, it all depends what you're going to do with your lifted pin to the height you may want to do it. So you can also put Captain tape if you just want to protect them like I did earlier. We can put solder mask underneath. And as you can see, I've got a nice result. I'm just going to zoom into that so you can see it hopefully a bit clearer. I'll actually lift them up just a wee bit more. Hopefully you can see this in the video. So they're all up nice and straight, all three. So you've got a clear gap underneath, all the way across. And that's what you're looking for basically. So I've got three nice straight pins, all up in the air. Like I say, some people might bend these pins down this low position right onto the top up here. You might want to say take a wire from this one over to this one just for a different signal. There's a lot of, yeah, some people might want to put a resistor between pin and pad just to change the signal. And yeah, that's how easy it is. As you can see, got a nice straight result all up in the air, got clear daylight underneath, and that's what you're looking for. So I've got no damage at all. It's actually quite easy once you get to do this. Like I say, these will push over to the side when you first start, but you can straighten them up after. And as we just showed, you've got a lovely clear gap right underneath, and that's how easy it is. So yeah, it's not difficult. A bit of practice and you will get there. So anyway, I'm just going to show one more small device, and then we're going to move on to a couple of devices where this method you have to do it slightly different, or you could damage them. So yeah, move on to the smaller device now. Right, so following on from the fine pitch IC, we've just lifted up 3 pins in a previous clip. Now I'm going to come on to this low bodied IC here. I'm going to lift this end pin up here. This is actually pin 5 on the device, pin 1's over the other corner. So when you've got a pin on the end that you're lifting, it's a little bit more risky. So I've seen some of these pins lift up, you can actually, if you're not careful, you can actually fracture the corner of the body off. But this type of device tends to be okay. But after this one, I'm going to show you a couple of devices where sometimes I take them off the board, lift the pin up off the board, then refit the device after that. But this one should be okay, so I'm just going to show you how I do this one. Just a small amount of rework flux again, just around your joint. What I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to use just one of the prongs of my tweezers to get behind this one. The leg's actually slightly stiffer than the other 2 clips earlier. Now these tweezers are quite strong, so the pin's going to lift up before it damages the tweezers. But if you're worried, you can always use your scalpel blade again. So I've got a small amount of solder in my iron. Just again lift the pin up off the board. And again I'm just going to go in there and just de-wick what solder's left on it. I've just added a small amount of flux to my braid as always. Let's get all that solder taken off that pad. I've got a nice clear gap under there. I'm just going to tweak it up slightly higher, which you can do once you're sure all the solder's gone. So the body on these type of ICs tends to be okay to do the end pins like this. I'll say after this I'll show you a couple of components where I've seen over the years some of them can get damaged if you're not careful. So I'll just try and get some of the flux off so you can see this clearer. Just get my tweezers in there. So I've done videos on the sort of cleaning fluids that I use, etc. Now if I run my tweezers, I've got a fine pair of tweezers, I'm just going to run them right underneath. You can actually see I've got a clear daylight right through there. It's tough to see on the clip. Let's try and zoom in, see if I can get this slightly bigger. See if I can get that slightly bigger there. So I've got a nice clear gap there now. Got no solder at all. The pin's nicely lifted off the board, as you can see. And that's basically how I do the end pins. Now it's the same, basically the same method, just a little bit more risky on these end ones. So like I said earlier, you may use sort of this method to lift the pin up, put a resistor between pin and pad, or you may want to just take the signal to another place via just using a mod wire. So it's quite a useful technique to know this. So like I say, just be careful on the end pins. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to quickly move on to a couple of components where I've seen a bit of damage over the years, and I'm going to show you how to do them. Right, so move on to the final part of these videos. Now, I'm just going to quickly run you past a couple of components where I've seen damage occur over the years. Now, a typical component is SOT23 down here. Now these pins are actually quite wide compared to the size of the body. They're also quite stiff, and it's sometimes hard to get something behind it to tweak the pin up, even if you remove the solder that's on there. So I'm just going to try and lift this one up on the board. Just going to try and get a scalpel blade behind it. But normally, when I come to these sort of devices, I'd remove them from the board, just get my pliers or tweezers sort of straight on the length of the pin, just tweak it up straight so it's coming out of the body straight, and then refit the component. So yeah, I tend to, like I say, I tend to lift these off the board, do the lifting of the pin off the board, then reinsert the component. Anyway, I'm going to try this one while it's on the board and see what happens. So let's just add some more flux around there like the other clips. A small amount of solder on me iron tip as always, and we'll try and get a scalpel blade behind this one. There's not a lot of room behind these pins, and I think that's why the body can get fractured. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I can already see it. There you go. Yeah, really easy to break them, and that is the problem with doing SOT23s while they're on the board. So like I say, come to something like this, remove it from the board, do your lifting off the board, then reinsert the device. Now this is one typical component where this does happen quite a lot. So I'll just quickly run you past another one, and then we'll put a few photos up. Right, so following on from the SOT23, we've just saw catastrophic damage where the corner of the device broke off, and that is common on them. So like I was saying, that's why I take them off the board first, tweak the pin up, then refit the device. Now this is another device I tend to take off the board as well to do the same thing, otherwise the same damage can occur. You've got these regulators here, so I would tend to take these off the board using 2 soldering irons or a hot air gun, tweak the pin up, whatever pin you're lifting, then refit the device, because I see the same damage occurring on these as them SOT23s as in the last clip. So they're the two main components, because the pins on these ones are quite wide, quite a low device. They're quite a stiff pin. Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of damage over the years on these devices. So again, I'd recommend taking these off, lifting the pin, then reinserting the device. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed these videos. Hopefully you've learned something. The best thing I can say is, if you've got any old boards, devices like these on them, just practice away. You soon get to know what you can and can't do. That's the best advice I can give you, really. Anyway, thanks for tuning in again to all these the videos, and thanks for your support. And I'll see you in the near future with some more soldering videos. Until then, take care, and yeah, I'll see you soon.